Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. A little while ago, I posted a series of videos that you can see. I actually made a little playlist of it, but about some certain masters that when Maitreya comes out, not long after he comes out, will be introduced by Maitreya because they have key roles to play in the coming time. And there'll be more and more masters known. There'll be masters that will be working on the beautification of our cities. There'll be other masters doing, other stuff, maybe working with the agencies that work with the principle of sharing or the UN or whatever. And they won't necessarily take on disciples, but they'll be there working moment to moment with people to help bring about Maitreya's priorities. And every one of Maitreya's priorities, there's masters that's their calling to work with, whether it's the internet, which is already in existence. That's like the only real priority of Maitreya's that's really out there right now. But there'll be masters that will help clean up the internet. There'll be masters that work, of course, with the principle of sharing. There'll be masters that will be working with cleaning up our environment. There'll be masters that will be teaching directly to humanity, because there's going to be a lot to learn, because we don't know that we don't even know some of this stuff. And they'll be on TV teaching us and so forth. And of course, Maitreya will be out there known, and people, our world leaders will be looking to these masters for guidance on how to handle problems with their country or their cities or whatever there is, and so forth. But as the time goes on, more and more masters will start to come out doing their work, whatever they do, whether it's teaching or some other kind of administrative kind of thing, or working with governments or whatever it happens to be. And then other as members of our humanity become masters, I'm sure more and more will choose to stay and help. So that group of 40 plus masters, I'm sure, will start to get bigger as time goes on. But it might be a little while before some of these masters are really known and seen physically, in the world, like the master who was the Madonna. In a couple hundred years, she'll come out as the first female master and so forth. So it's going to be a while before we all see her, but some of these masters will be known. Now, for the last 40 some odd years, right before Maitreya came out of his, not retirement, his retreat, and went to London, entered London, 5 masters preceded him. The first one went into the outskirts of New York, then one went into the outskirts of London, one went into Geneva, one went into Darjeeling, and one went into Tokyo. And then not long after that, one went into Moscow, and then the Master Jesus in Rome. And according to Benjamin Creme, there's one living in Paris, and there's some other masters around the world in different cities. Of course, there's still some that are in the Himalayas and so forth that haven't come out quite yet. And then there's one in in the United States, there's one in Los Angeles, and there's one on the outskirts of San Francisco. And I always think to myself, every time I go to San Francisco, I'd love to be that master, man. That'd be great. They have the best food and everything in San Francisco. But anyway, that's just me. You might not like San Francisco. I like it. But these masters will start, they're still working remotely, a little bit more, directly with humanity, because instead of being in the Himalayas, they're in New York or whatever. But, people don't know who they are as a general rule, right? But as Maitreya becomes more known and starts to guide and teach humanity, these masters will start to come out, and people will start to recognize them and know who they are. And they'll, of course, be speaking on TV and on the internet and on radio and so forth. So we'll all see them, And some of these masters, like I said, will be working directly with nations. Other ones will be doing other stuff. Other ones will be teaching and so forth. But the 2 masters I wanted to add to this collection of masters in my videos. The first one was the master who was the painter Raphael, the Renaissance painter, the master Raphael, and who, according to Benjamin Creme, is a great master that will be working with humanity in the coming time. But he apparently is a great healer. He's not only a great master, but he's a great healer, and sends his healing energy oftentimes through his paintings and things like this. And if you ever stand in front of his paintings, not only the physical quality of his paintings are very soft, but if you're sensitive to energy, his energy is very soft. It's almost like taking a warm bath. It's really wild. But very, like I said, very much of a healer in a lot of ways. And he'll be working with healers in the future and so forth. And then the other master, who was a painter as well, was the master who was Rembrandt. And the master who was Rembrandt is not necessarily going to be out physically. I don't know. Benjamin Creme never really talked about that, but he is a teacher teaching humanity on the inner planes right now. But the thing I wanted to mention about this guy is when he was Rembrandt, he was very advanced, having taken 3 initiations. So he was not only advanced now, but he was advanced even then. And he painted a lot of paintings, but he is really the inventor of the selfie, because he painted upwards of 80 plus self-portraits. And they're all unique pieces of art. He's not the most beautiful man to look at, but he's sitting there and he has this very calm, kind of peaceful, serene look to himself. If you knew the history of Rembrandt, he had a very rough life. He lost his kids to illness, he lost his wife to illness, he went bankrupt, couldn't even afford to buy his own paintings. He was that broke. But yet he has this calm kind of demeanor to him, very detached, as Maitreya's teachings would say. But the other thing is, according to Benjamin Creme, Maitreya overshadowed him when he painted, and especially when he painted his self-portraits. And there's a shared energetic quality between Rembrandt and Maitreya's in his paintings. And Maitreya painted his eyes into the painting. And it was the start of the reappearance of the Christ. Was, kind of like the last phase of it was the start with Rembrandt paintings, because it was kind of like Maitreya reintroducing himself to the world through a painting. Kind of cool. But Rembrandt is a great teacher. He's created a lot of great paintings, but I'm sure he'll be working with humanity into the future, into the coming time. And as always, take action. Help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos. Have a great day.